All right. Hello, everyone, to another webinar. We are very, very excited. I can already see the first people where Alexis is saying hello. So I'm going to start adding our first guest to the stage, Ilya. Let me see. There is Ilya. Hey, Ilya. Just a quick mic check. Can you hear me okay?
All good, Hans. Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Same here, same here. So we're 2 minutes over time, but we're going to give the people some time to actually join. And then we're also waiting for the star of the show, Brandon, but he'll be joining us shortly as well with some very exciting stuff. And then it's time for the big announcement instantly and HeyReach, which is very exciting. I've been looking forward to this one very much, and I know a lot of other people have as well. A really quick housekeeping note before we get started. So last time when people joined a webinar of ours, they were on YouTube and they mentioned that the dimensions looked a bit off. That was because on YouTube there are two streams. So there's a mobile stream and a, let's call it a regular stream. And if you're on your PC or your desktop and on YouTube, it looks a bit odd, go to our YouTube channel and you should see the regular stream as well. So then you can watch the regular stream, and then the mobile stream is for, well, for mobile. So there's just a quick housekeeping note there. Then one thing that I do always mention, because everyone is going to ask if there's going to be recording. Short answer, yes. The recording will be on the LinkedIn event. So if you're watching on LinkedIn, the event where you're watching right now is where you can watch the replay. And then same for YouTube. So you can watch it later on our YouTube channel as well.
But yeah, I believe we will still get questions. Is this thing going to be recorded, and whether there will be a recording? But yeah, I don't know what's up with that question or anything. I always believe like we always have recordings about just about anything these days, really.
Yeah, exactly. Adam's asking me, bro, who am I? So I am the head of education of Instantly, and we have launched. I think that's a great segue into actually starting this webinar. So that is, and today's webinar is all about Instantly, HeyReach, and multi-channel outbound. Now, the reason why that is available right now is that we've launched a new automations feature where an integrations feature where anyone that uses Instantly can now use HeyReach as well and can unlock, excuse me, can unlock multi-channel outreach as well as automations, which is very, very exciting. And that's what we're all gonna go over today. So with HeyReach, the what to me is the most exciting part is that people re-unlock that scalable LinkedIn outreach, right? Because and I'm a bit of a fossil, I guess, Ilya. I'm a bit old. Where when I was getting started, like a decade ago, almost hurts me to say it, is that LinkedIn outreach is not like you did it, but it was tricky, right? And honestly, that only changed pretty recently, I think, where where HeyReach really started coming up, and it became more sustainable to do LinkedIn outreach at let's call it scale. Is that correct?
Absolutely, Hans. Well, the same principle applies as sending emails through Google and sending DMs and connection requests on LinkedIn. Obviously, when
Mhm.
you have that third party, ruling and dependency, you have to respect what they care about, right? So basically, in our case, Instantly even set the course and the vision of the product itself. It's because if you want to scale, but you really don't want to jeopardize or basically put in danger your account, you basically have to respect the LinkedIn ways of working. Now,
Mhm.
in order to do that, you basically need more LinkedIn accounts, meaning orchestrated and pretty much a streamlined wave of execution actions through LinkedIn. And
Mhm.
that's where the tool essentially found its way to exist on the market. It's because we've replicate is obviously, but we follow the principles of Instantly, where you have
Mhm.
account rotation and you can execute on a lot of data, but at the same time respecting on what the platform has to offer. So long story short, obviously, to introduce myself to the audience, for the ones who don't know me, my name is Ilya. Don't even try to pronounce my last name. I am the CRO here at HeyReach. I've been part of this company even from day zero. Now we are currently pacing and sailing towards the 10 million mark. So you can say like we did good for ourselves in the past 2 years. Either way, things are looking stable, and I'm here to educate a little bit on the LinkedIn part. What are the do's, what are the don'ts, and when does it fit in, and how do you actually do it?
Exactly. And we're very excited to jump into that. And maybe later you can educate me as well on how to build a studio like the one that you have there. We can do it after the call. So what we're going to jump into now is we're going to have a quick, and you already mentioned a few things, but we're going to have a quick introduction about, HeyReach. Why should people that are currently using Instantly, why should they care about HeyReach? What does HeyReach do, and what is the big strength of HeyReach? We'll try and keep it a little bit short because I'd like to keep these webinars practical, right? That people can watch it, follow along, learn something, and they can apply it the same day. So we'll talk about HeyReach, and what the reason is why Instantly decided to integrate with HeyReach, because it's HeyReach is doing phenomenal things. We were very excited to launch the integration, and then I'll jump into actually setting it up, where I'm going to show people how to set it up. So I'll walk through the automation platform, and I'll walk through the connection, etc., and then people can actually follow along and get started with that, and hopefully give people some inspiration. And then I already see some questions. Now we have people in the chat who may be able to help with answering some of those questions, but make sure that you stick around until the end, because that's when we'll take any question hasn't been answered yet. And we're very happy to answer any of the questions that you may have. So Ilya, I'll give the stage to you for a little bit. You could talk about HeyReach. Why did you start HeyReach? Why should people use HeyReach? And what are the main benefits of using HeyReach? I think is a good place to start.
Absolutely. Thank you, Hans. Essentially, guys, look at it like this. You basically need to enforce varieties of channels in your outreach. And then you have the traditional cold calling and email, and LinkedIn comes third best. The reason why it comes third best is because everyone is these days just being targeted from all over the place. And you need this environment where you start with one channel and then you follow up on the second. But again, you are not the most skillful or technically skilled person in the world. So how do you actually do it? HeyReach, in a sense, and that's what this whole webinar will be about, essentially. But when you look at HeyReach, it's basically, if you have one LinkedIn account, you can do so much of it. So basically, you can send up to 600, 700 connection requests per month. But truth to be told, the way we all conduct outbound these days, it's on a bigger scale. The problem that we solve, and it emerges, is when you have multiple LinkedIn accounts, how do you manage them? How do you include them in a campaign? How do you manage the replies into your inbox? So that's why in HeyReach, we've built out like a native environment of campaign rollout, where you can assign multiple LinkedIn accounts to rotate against the lead list that was pointed to them. And second, you will have a unified inbox to manage all of your LinkedIn conversations from one centralized place.
Yep.
On top of that, we've added some cool add-ons such as integrations, where you can basically integrate this solution to your CRM. And by the latest, you can integrate this with your favorite email tool to run combined sequences and cadences. So think of HeyReach as Instantly for LinkedIn.
Okay, I really like that. Obviously, I really like that analogy, Instantly for LinkedIn. So that's good. And like I already said at the beginning, it is a massive unlock, isn't it? Where before this really wasn't a possibility, and it's the best part. What I like about this, and you already mentioned it, the combination. So not saying, okay, we're going to stop doing cold email or cold calling, we're just going to focus on LinkedIn, but instead just saying, okay, these channels, they work really well together, and it can help you get more out of your cold email list, because you're sending emails to maybe your tier 1 accounts that you're really excited to break into. You really want to book meetings with these people. They don't respond to your email. Before, there wasn't that much you can do. Now you can say, okay, hey, you know what? Let's try on LinkedIn. And then you just get a lot more out of that list. You just drastically increase your chances of booking meetings, et cetera, et cetera. So one of the many reasons why I'm just super excited about this integration.
Yes, exactly like that.
Exactly.
Cool.
So yeah, then talking about automations. So there's a new feature that we launched instantly. I'm not going to try and get too, like I already said, theoretical about this. I'm just going to dive into it in just a second. The idea here is that with automations, you can perform actions that maybe before you would use Make, Zapier, and Ident for. Now we're not quite at that level yet. However, you're able to do some really, really cool stuff already where you're able to say, okay, whatever happens in instantly, I want to update something in HeyReach, for example, or I want to update something within instantly. So we're now at the V1 of the automation platform, and you're already able to do some really exciting things that I'm going to show you now, including integrating with HeyReach. And then we're only going to keep adding to that, and we're only going to keep adding new actions and destinations, etc. And it's just going to make your life a lot easier, and ultimately is going to help you generate more revenue, which is what we're in this game for. Now, I'm going to show you an example of me setting up an automation for instantly in HeyReach. And that's going to be, let's say, the live walkthrough. I'm going to do it more or less from the instantly point of view. And then Ilya, if you can then later just quickly do it from a HeyReach point of view, if there are any, if there are any things that maybe I missed that is really important for HeyReach use as you set your account, and then if you can maybe show that, and then hopefully people will have a good idea of how to set this up. So
Absolutely. Let's get to it.
there we go. So just checking. You're looking at my screen, is that correct?
Yes, all good.
Beautiful. So here in instantly on the left hand side is where you have the automations view. And let me just really quickly move this. The automations view, if people are not familiar with it, then you jump into automations. And then you add a new automation. That is straightforward. Then right here, you have just, like I said, it's the same as in Make, Zapier, and then you have these triggers that you have available. Then the built-in tools for now, you can select instantly. And then you have these different triggers here. Now, you have the lead interest status changed, campaign finished for lead, lead added to list, and lead replied. They don't need a whole lot of explanation. I'm just going to quickly run through them just to get your creative juices flowing, I suppose. Where lead interest status changed is, imagine that you have a lead. So I'm just going to select this. And you have them in a campaign, and now they booked a meeting with you, for example. Now you can, from here, add them to HeyReach and connect with them on LinkedIn as well, which is, a bit, best practice as well, because in that way they get to see your LinkedIn profile, they get to see your background, they get to learn more about you. That is just one simple use case and one trigger event that you can set up. The one that is probably the most used is the campaign finish for lead. That is the one that was the most requested, the one that people were already using the most, and that we're going to be seeing them use the most. Then how it works, straightforward, is imagine you have 1,000 people, 800 do not reply. Then those 800, the moment they're finished within your campaign, so the campaign is finished for them, you can move them to HeyReach, and now LinkedIn outreach starts. So I select here campaign finished for lead, I hit continue, and then you have the option here if the campaign ended and the lead did not reply, or the campaign ended after the lead replied. Now, this is the most common one. So the campaign ended, the lead did not reply. Let's try it on LinkedIn. So that is the big one. That is the one that most people have been asking for. And this is how you set it up. You select your campaign here and instantly, where you can say, okay, from this campaign, you test it. It literally just takes a second to do it. And then once this is set up, so once the trigger event has been set up in here, you can add an action. Now, for here, we're going to select HeyReach. I'm going to select my HeyReach account, and then you can add a lead to a campaign, or you can add a lead to a list. I'm going to say add a lead to a campaign. And after that, again, is really straightforward. So someone didn't reply to my emails. I'm going to add them to a campaign. And this is already mapped for you, so you don't have to touch anything here. You can just simply hit continue. And that is pretty much it. Now you can even specify and LinkedIn account ID if that's you want, but those are details that are obviously up to you, up to everyone. And like it's literally a 2-minute demo. You set it up, you shoot them over to HeyReach, and you're good to go. It really is as straightforward as that. You hit continue, and you're good to go. Now, the automation platform also has some other options where you can say, I want to automate something within Instantly. So maybe if someone finished their campaign, didn't reply, I want to add them to a different campaign, or I want to send them a one-off email. A lot of options there. If you want to learn a bit more about that, I did a video on that on LinkedIn last week. You can check that out there, or shoot me a message on LinkedIn. I'll share the video with you. But for now, the core use case here is, okay, someone didn't reply, I want to send them to HeyReach, and that's that. Now, how you set that up within Instantly, your HeyReach account is, as you're in here in the automations view, you simply go here and you click add new. What it will do is it will ask you for your API key. You plug in your HeyReach API key, and Ilya will show you in just a minute where you can find that. You drop your API key in there, you click connect, and that's everything. This is all just set up to be as smooth and as easy as possible. It is a 2-click setup pretty much, where you drop your API key in there, and then you're instantly in HeyReach account. They're connected, and now you can run multi-channel outreach, saying, okay, whenever something happens in Instantly, I want these leads to move to HeyReach. And it's a really cool workflow, and something that will really, really get you a lot more out of your lead list, and will help you book a lot more demos from your cold outreach. And that is how you set it up on the Instantly side. The automations are free, so you don't pay anything extra to get access to the future. You don't pay anything extra to sync leads, so you don't pay per step or per automation or per you name it, per nothing. It is a free option that you have available, where you can say, I want to do multi-channel outreach Instantly and HeyReach, and you can set that up, and there's no extra cost to you. So Ilya, I cannot think of any reason why people shouldn't be doing this.
Well, I can think of a reason if they don't really want more meetings booked. I mean, that's a valid reason not to apply this automation.
Yeah. Maybe now on Christmas they want a bit of holiday. So in that case, just wait until January and set it up then.
Yeah, don't start it right now, because it will hurt your calendar and you will not spend a Merry Christmas, but you will basically having too many calls.
Exactly. Cool. So that is sorry, Ilya. So that is the LinkedIn or the Instantly side of things. Straightforward. And if people have any questions about that, happy to answer those by the end of the webinar. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. You can jump in. If you feel I've missed anything, then please feel free to jump in, answer anything, or fill anything that I've missed. And then just a quick walkthrough on how to set it up in HeyReach, where can people find their API key, etc. So I'm going to remove this screen, and then it's just the two of us. And then whenever you're ready, we'll add your screen, and then that's
all good. I'm ready to go. I'll start right off the bat, and I believe we should be good now, right? Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Awesome. Guys, listen, on a very high end, the integration, the automation itself, it's fairly easy. HeyReach, as I mentioned, is instantly for LinkedIn. The reason why I said that is because if you are just laying out eyes on the platform, you have one dashboard, you have a centralized view for your LinkedIn connected accounts, meaning these are actual LinkedIn accounts, including mine is here, obviously. You have a place to build out a lead list, meaning a list of people you want to reach out to, and you have a place to build out a campaign, essentially an automated flow that the tool will execute on your behalf in an automated fashion on your browser, meaning on a cloud. Basically, you do not have to lift a finger when it comes to that. Last but not least, we have the centralized inbox, similar to Instantly, where you can manage all of your LinkedIn accounts conversations without a need to actually log into the account. Now, that's an overview about the application. To make the Instantly connection actually work, you need to go to integrations. You will find Instantly as a card. You need to click on Connect Now and create, basically this is where you paste on, sorry, confusion there. You need to go to the HeyReach API key, get an API key, copy this thing, and paste it on in Instantly. That's pretty much it. Like, there is nothing more to it. The thing that obviously Hans showed, this is the key that you were looking for. You can find it under integrations. Now, the main question is, you will easily find this, and we Instantly and HeyReach at the same time, we do have a collateral in terms of how to set it up. I'm going to talk a little bit about the more important part. Basically, what's going to happen once you send a person from Instantly to HeyReach, meaning what are you going to say, how that flow would look like, and what are the best practices. So, for instance, I'm going to start a campaign, and I'm going to say no reply instantly, like so. Over here, this is just the name of the campaign. I'm going to create an empty list and basically say no reply. Oops, typo. So no reply. And over here, I want to exclude if I message anyone that from my any LinkedIn account previously. So far, so good. It's just a blank list. Over here, I can assign either one, but if I want to really just scale this up, because let's be honest, a lot of people will not respond to your email campaigns. So this is why you need to connect multiple LinkedIn accounts and attach them inside of this campaign, meaning use them in this campaign. So I can assign all of those accounts, and I can set up the working schedule for each account, meaning time zone, working days, working hours. You don't have to worry about the limits. We cover that. We are by default safe. So I've selected multiple accounts. Now I want to build out a campaign. So a campaign is essentially an automated set of actions. So what I can do is I can go straight away with a connection request and a message, or I can do profile engagements at the same time. Now bear this in mind. LinkedIn is it's a social platform. Email is a communication channel. On email, you will get a straight yes or no. On LinkedIn, you will generate more replies, but it will be more conversational. Reason being is because people are there for the social aspect, and they leverage on the communication channels which are at their disposal, which is the LinkedIn inbox. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build out like a very simple, very straightforward, yet very powerful campaign that will combine profile engagement. So you want to do a follow 1 day later, liking the recent post. The reason why you're doing that is because you want to create a multiple touch point sequencing against the recipient's profile. So they will receive more notifications from you. Followed by, you can essentially send them a connection request. Now, in some cases, and especially if you're not doing just for yourself, maybe for your clients, you don't know whether the lead in your Instantly campaign is actually connected with your with the sender's profile. So what you can do over here, instead of a connection request, you can essentially do if connection. So if they are connected, do you want to message them? Yes or no? Either way, let's say that they're connected and I want to, not connected, sorry, and I want to send them a connection request. You can personalize the connection request over here, and you can set up the flow that goes accepted, wait for 1 day after acceptance, and send them your first message. That will go, hey, first name, so on and so forth. Now, you can set up a full cadence in different time delays over here. Let's say 3 days later, I want to send out a second message. Now, this is so far how the tool actually worked in an isolated fashion when it comes to only the LinkedIn part. Now, thanks to Instantly and to this integration, is what's going to happen if you send a connection request, but there is no response. And this can go bidirectional, whether you're starting for LinkedIn as a starting point and you want to send the email, or whether you send the email, send the LinkedIn, but no acceptance to the connection request. So what you essentially can do is, let's say we are going to wait for 10 days, and if the connection request is not accepted yet, I want to send them to Instantly, meaning I want to connect my Instantly account, basically copy and pasting the Instantly API key inside of HeyReach, where I've showed you, select the right campaign, and you can imagine, obviously, how this message could look like on Instantly. Hey, I've tried reaching you over LinkedIn, but no luck. That's why I'm reaching you over email. Instantly will do their best part, which is sending the email to the right inbox. So you will have that. And second scenario can evolve as well. What if you send all your messages? Now, obviously, if you get a reply on your messages, we will stop the campaign. But if you don't get a reply, again, whether you're starting with Instantly, I mean, this is the same principle that it's applicable, or if you're starting with LinkedIn straight away, again, you can use it. And basically, you will have another campaign. So basically, based on the behavior on LinkedIn, you can send them to different campaigns in Instantly just to make sense out of this whole approach and not look like an amateur. That's why we've tried to build the simplest integration. Once you have that all in place, You just launch a campaign. That's pretty much it. I don't know, Hans, have I covered everything?
I think you have. I think you have. That was, I mean, I'm looking at it. I'm getting, well, you know me, I'm a big nerd for cold outreach. I'm looking at, I'm excited about all the deals, the leads you can generate, and how easy it is to build. Like you said, the sequence. It is like you set it up, you cover all your bases, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Which I think is just super exciting. Now, you already mentioned a few things, and I want to touch on this quickly before we dive into even more exciting stuff. And that is, you mentioned that LinkedIn is a bit more conversational, whereas cold email is a bit more, let's call it binary, like yes, no, meeting, no meeting.
Yes.
So that means that with LinkedIn, there are different, different best practices that come with that platform, just as every single platform, every single channel has their own best practices. So can you, because I'm a cold email guy, can you talk to me a little bit about, okay, I start moving to LinkedIn, I really start adding it, how do I adjust? Just quickly, as imagine bullet points, like what are things I have to keep in mind, what are some do's and don'ts, and how can I adapt to the channel?
Okay, let's be short and sweet because it's very straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
First, you are sending messages to a chat, not to a thread. With that being said, I mean, just think about it. Would you send a long message to your friends? No, you will keep it short and sweet. So basically, you have to keep between a sentence and two sentences tops, and then automate shorter messages in delays. So basically, short message one, wait for 3 days, short message number two, and treat it as a chat. On LinkedIn, it's not the best practice to send a Calendly link or to propose. I mean, proposing a time, it's a one thing. Sending a Calendly link, it's like considered a no-go. So basically, you have to go a little bit of a permission base. You have to go, well, thank you for accepting me, because they were not obligated to do so, but still they did. And basically ask, can I send a link or can I share more material? And bear this in mind. Even if they say no on LinkedIn, that's your matching ICP being connected to you and exclusively to you over LinkedIn. Doesn't get much better than that. So a no on LinkedIn today doesn't mean a no 3 months from now. Respect
Exactly.
that and be careful when you are just shutting off the connection. Email, yes, they will probably forget about it, but on LinkedIn, things get memorized. Be prepared for something that you are not used to, and that's the inbox management, because LinkedIn is essentially averaging 17% reply rate, right? The more you do it, the bigger it gets. The bigger it gets, more demand is there for a human to actually be inside of the inbox. So
Exactly.
be prepared to communicate everything. We've created the unified inbox, but still there has to be a person that manages those conversations.
Just chatting. Exactly.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. I appreciate that. And it's it really is more of that chat experience. You let me so that is very helpful. And that is and like you said, reply rates are very, very different. And it is just it takes more work to manage it pretty much. That is very much true. So
Yeah.
that's
Don't
that's
be
actually
lazy. Start nurturing people, start having discussions, honest discussions with a matching ICP. Doesn't get much better than that.
exactly. And as you're active on LinkedIn, as you're posting content, etc., then these people, start seeing that. And like you said, a no now doesn't mean that, a month from now it's still going to be a no. So just make sure that you're monitoring that, you're active on, you're actually actively posting on LinkedIn. And then, that first sequence is just the first step in, starting that relationship, and just think long term and, make sure that they stay within your ecosystem.
Quite honestly, guys, here is a little private thing about me. I've been huge Hans fan, and like it's a very great day for me to be like on the same webinar with Hans, because I've been following Hans on LinkedIn probably 2 years ago, and I've followed his clay flows. I mean, I'm not really just making you Hans over here, but the truth is, I was exposed to his content, and it made so much sense for me to proceed a career over here and to learn to understand the market itself. So yeah. Bear in mind, a no now doesn't mean a no 3 months from now, where they actually see the things that you do on LinkedIn.
Exactly. And I appreciate the kind words. And that is a really nice segue into our next segment, actually, because speaking of people that we're a fan of, So we are just mere mortals, Ilya, you and I. But then behind the scenes, we have Santa. We have a bit of a Christmas gift where I already mentioned I want this webinar to be something that is actionable, right? That people can actually sit here, look at it, and take something away from it. And now we already have a lot of questions, and people, we're going to get to your questions. I do promise you that by the end of the webinar. But there's just one more gift that we have to unwrap here, and that gift is named Brendan Charleston, and he is an automation wizard where he can build stuff that you and I can only dream of. So he baked something for us. He put something together for us using Instantly, using HeyReach, a phenomenal automation. He just gave me a bit of a preview earlier before we jumped on. And I'm as excited as everyone else, I guess, when they're going to see this. So without further ado, let me get Brendan on the stage and do a really quick mic check. Hey, Brendan.
What's going on, fellas? Good to be here.
Good to have you here.
Big on the Sora train, so I figured I'd rather rock the hat and just keep the motion going, right? So thanks for having me today.
That's good. That's good. The hat, the jersey, everything. So could you just give, let's say, your elevator pitch, like who are you, like what does Brendan do, just really quickly?
Absolutely. We plug in triggers and actions. We build systems in order to make sense of all the data, to make it usable, actionable, to raise top line revenue, right? That's the biggest thing is growth. And we use HeyReach and Instantly every day, all day. So that is the icing on the cake that actually connects the human to human, right? That's the biggest thing. So that's what we do. We build systems around that.
Yeah, and better than pretty much anyone I know, might I add to that. So you, like Santa came bringing gifts, is that correct?
I do what?
Did Santa come with any gifts is what because I think you prepared something, Is that right?
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. Yeah.
What did you build for us today?
Let's do it. Sorry, it was a little bit of a delay. Can you say that again?
That's so good. I'm asking, what did you build? You can just quickly let us know, like a bit of a teaser, so that we can get even more excited, and then just show it.
Yeah, so I would love to describe a live workflow that we recently tweaked that's been working well for us, and that is true multi-channel, right? So there's a lot of platforms out there like LinkedIn and cold email, but there's another hidden gem that I love, which is X. And X is usually the very quick, no filter, where people just post every day, all day. And depending on your industry, especially in SaaS, a lot of founders are on there, especially if you're tech enabled and you're behind like data and cursor and coding, especially vibe coding, right? And I live on X as well. So what I did is I pulled posts to understand keywords and context. I then cross-reference that to find the founder. I find their LinkedIn, I find their cold email, and I start doing a multi-channel from X over to that. Similar to what Ilya is saying, hey, I know there's a lot of noise here. I figured I'd just reach out to you via a more effective channel. So that's what I'm going to demonstrate today.
All right. Well, as I said, we're very much excited. So whenever you're ready.
Perfect. All right. Let me just, let's see here. Make sure.
And then Ramon asked, is this live going to be shared? So yes, the replay will be available on YouTube, on our Instantly YouTube channel, as well as the LinkedIn event. You're watching it on LinkedIn, I can see from here. So the event that you're in, that you're watching it in, that's where you can actually catch the replay as well. So you can just rewatch everything and following step by step in some cases. So,
perfect. All right. So are you able to see my screen?
I am, and now everyone else is as well.
All good.
Perfect. Okay. So as we talked about, I mean, I don't want to spend too much time because this can get really noisy, but I'm in Clay, and this is a workflow that we use, which is live signals. And what it does is every single day, as you can see right here, is fairly recent. We pull from a signal of X, we understand the text, and then I'm basically understanding if it is a mention of fundraising, because there's a lot of noise on there. So I use AI to confirm if it is about fundraising. And then we have some data around here regarding the likes. I can really see if it's really taken off, anything like that. I love to use Grok because Grok is an AI model that connects X data with AI. And then not only that, but I can pull in verified sources such as TechCrunch any website that explains more, so I can pull in even more context around that funding to understand what the next motion is, right? Then I find the founder through an AI agent called Claygent. We pull in the information to make sure they're B2B, and then I will write to a different table where we find the founder. So we check the URL to make sure we're not wasting any credits and things like that. But then we'll rip through, we'll find their LinkedIn. So you can see I already found the founder on LinkedIn. And then we'll enrich their data to make sure it is in fact them and that they exist. And then we will clean their information. We'll find their email address. I like to do a normalization of their first name because, like a lot of us, especially our good friend Eric, we have sometimes rocket ship or muscle arm, Hans or something like that. And if you're doing that, you're already going to kill your outreach because you know it's automated. We will validate the emails and then we'll add to Instantly. Then from Instantly right here, this is the sauce. At least it's been working for us. But similar to Ilya, is what he's been saying is like, hey, I love this channel, or I figured I'd reach out from this one. You're doing something that's a little bit more of an anti-trend versus just going to that platform in order to get their attention, because the biggest thing is to get their attention, right? So I just simply say, hey, saw your X post regarding funding, congrats, and I just wanted to reach out. Just wanted to see if you're using any automation platforms to support your multi-channel outbound motions. We support founders just like you. Let me know and I'll send it quick loom. Want to keep it super simple, super basic. As you can see here, there's only one step, but this is the end of this particular campaign, right? So from here, I leverage the automation. And then another thing that you'll notice here that we do at top of funnel is I really like to make sure that as we hop different platforms and we do a lot of different automations, I like to keep very consistent naming conventions. A lot of times we'll put the date. I also like to put a lightning bolt there to indicate that it is 100% powered, that it doesn't require a manual trigger in order to continuously feed it. But very simply, just like we demonstrated before, once campaign is finished, this is the trigger that will actually send it over to HeyReach, right? Where we add them to a campaign, which then goes into here, where then we'll start to do LinkedIn activity, such as following them. We'll wait a day. We'll send a connection request. I actually found it effective to just keep it blank because you're sales pitching or pitch slapping somebody when you're throwing something, unless it is super personal and it to be like, that's the guy or that's the gal, I would just keep it blank. And then from here, we can follow different courses based on actions here, but similar thing where I'll send them a message saying, hey, first name, similar thing here. I figure I just reach out here and just trying to start a relationship or start a conversation, right? So founders, like-minded, things like that. And then we'll just rip through a couple other steps in order to take different actions from there. One last thing that this is really kind of a step one in my opinion, but ideally what you actually can do from here is to add another step, just like what's in HeyReach, to send it back to another campaign to continue that motion if you wanted to continue that route. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So in summary, we've taken X, we've cross-referenced, we got an email and a LinkedIn profile, and now we're leveraging Instantly and HeyReach to do multi-channel outreach across the whole board. So that way we're firing on all cylinders, right? This has been working for us when we double down, but this one now we can make it true omni-channel. That way we can avoid well, you already reached out to email, like I already responded to it. So this one is a little bit more sequential on that aspect. So that's pretty much what I have here. So I'm going to end the infinite loop here. Yeah.
Hans, you gotta love how Brandon is just wearing a Santa Claus hat and he's basically showcasing one of the best flows ever. And he is just so loose about it. Oh yeah, like anyone can do it. I've did it. I mean, thank you, Brandon, for sharing. That's super awesome. Guys, don't be fooled. I know that Brandon is doing this for a living and he's doing this for God knows how long. But yeah, anyone can do it, but follow the best principles. That's what I'm trying to say.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel a bit naked up here, a bit underdressed. So I'll make sure to come better prepared next time. But yeah, that was very impressive, Brendan, and just shows like first of all shows just the cool stuff Brendan is building at top of funnel. So if there is something you need for your business, then he's the man to speak to. But it also shows that and that's something that's become a bit of a mantra of mine that I say way too often, but I like your own creativity is the limit, right? there's so many different use cases that are now unlocked when you have this automation platform, when you have this multi-channel outreach, where you can say, okay, I'm going to bring in X as a data source, and I'm just going to, email these people, send LinkedIn messages to these people. It's just like X is one example, but there are all these other unconventional data sources maybe you can bring in and just make sure that you get the most out of it, because the data source that you mentioned is great, but it's not huge, right? It's not like, okay, I have 100,000 people every month that qualify. So the more you can squeeze out of that, the better. Where before, maybe you would just email these people, but then you get a reply rate of 5%, 10%. What do you do with the rest? But now you can add them to LinkedIn. You just get a lot more of that, and you just double, triple, quadruple your chance of getting success there. And that's what gets me most excited, that people can just easily just drastically increase their chances of success. A small market, like you just showcased, a small list is a great example of that. So that was very exciting.
Hans, to help a little bit for people to visualize on that, guys, it was quite common. You see a LinkedIn post, then you write a LinkedIn DM. And that's not out of the ordinary. Those people receive those messages. But I found you on X and I'm messaging you on LinkedIn. That's the game changer. That's you cutting them off by surprise, because that's not something that they hear every day. That means you did your research, and this means that you are really into business about or talking to a specific subject. And the email is the same, because if they're not active on LinkedIn, email is always there to pick it up.
Exactly. This is very powerful and very true. So listen, Brendan, we know you're a very busy man, so I'll let you go soon. Any final wisdom you want to drop on us?
Thanks, gentlemen. I would just say, just like you said, your mind is your limit as far as creativity. Try to be the anti-trend. Try to really just think, if you were to obsessively research somebody manually, that's what you should do repeatedly all the time. And try to do the anti-trend. That's the biggest thing, because that's going to catch people's attention. So I really appreciate you guys having me, though. This has been a true pleasure. So
appreciate that. Well, pleasure very much. Ours as well. So we'll let you go, and then Ilya and I will be going into questions. We have a lot of questions, so it'll be a bit of a rapid fire. And then if people have any more questions, anything specific, then on Instantly.ai, there's a live chat. We have a Slack community. You can ask your questions in there. For HeyReach, you can ask your questions in the chat. Any other communities or methods they can reach you, Ilya, before we jump into the questions?
Absolutely. I mean, they can reach me over LinkedIn. That's my bread and butter. They will always find me there.
That makes sense. All right, Brendan, thanks so much, and we'll talk later.
Thanks, gentlemen. Bye.
Bye, Brendan. Go.
All right, Ilya. Question time. So let's see. So there are a lot of questions. I'm going to scroll up to all of them. So for anyone, this is the moment you've been waiting for. If you have any questions, drop them now. We have about 15 minutes left to go through them. There's no hard cap on the time, but just to give everyone an idea, we'll go through the questions. We'll answer them the best as we can. If you still have any questions left, or if we didn't get to your question, then just reach out to us on LinkedIn or to our team or in the Slack communities. We're happy to answer any questions that you may have. If you have a question specifically for Brendan, he's on LinkedIn, or you can look for Top of Funnel. So let me see. I already answered this one, who I am. If anyone has more questions about that, then reach out to me. This is a question. Does HeyReach give rented LinkedIn accounts?
No. For the time being, we just want to be on the safe side. We do not do any rentals, although if you're specifically interested in that part, we outsource, because we outsource the things that we don't do to people who do that best. We don't send emails. Instantly sends emails. We don't rent accounts. There are people who do that. So if you need a reference, feel free to ping me.
Beautiful. All right. What is Instantly about? So we are a lead generation or sales automation platform, best in the game, now integrated with HeyReach for multi-channel outreach. So it's all about pricing. Sorry, but the pricing $79 per month, which is more than a startup is paying for Instantly starter plan. It is an additional subscription, but like you already said, the reply rates there just more than make up for it. If you even close one deal per month, I would imagine your ROI is at least 10x. So it's an additional subscription, but it's pretty much guaranteed to work.
Definitely. The question is, can you close a deal out of 800 people? That's
Exactly.
the
So
real
yeah,
question.
reframe it like that, and if you can, then it's a no-brainer. And if you want to sign up, so let me just quickly circle back to this one. So if you do want to sign up and say, okay, I want to give it a try, there's a 2-week free trial. You should already have an ROI within those 2 weeks. And in the descriptions, wherever you're watching, there are links in there. You can use those to sign up.
Yes, thank you.
Is there like are there any sales navigator like features? Because without it, we can't reach many people without a LinkedIn plan. I'm guessing it's about
Yeah,
what
it's
type.
about HeyReach. So how many people can you reach? It doesn't matter if you have a sales navigator or no sales navigator. There are two limits. Limit on a connection request, which varies between 600 and 800 per month. And then you have emails, which are basically paid sales navigator messages. And those would be capped to the subscription, basically 150. So long story short, if you have sales navigator, you can reach up to 1,000 people with one account. If you don't have a sales navigator, between 600 and 800.
All right, there's not a huge difference. That's less than I thought it would be.
No.
All right,
I mean,
that's good to know. All right, then so he's Fulkin there, so he's already answering questions. He's really helping out. Then Willie Hernandez, he's in there as well, and he had some kind words for us, which is very much appreciated, Willie. Then this is operation based, included with Instantly. It is not, so it's completely free. Talking about talking about the automation part, right? So the moment you jump into Instantly, the automation feature is free. It just comes with the plans. And then the operations, as in syncing leads between the two platforms, they're free as well. So there you don't add, like with N8N, for example, or Make, you don't pay per operation, how many people you sync or the steps, nothing. It is completely free.
Yeah.
They can one launch campaigns concurrently. So, and like, feel free to jump in here, Ilya, but for now it's a bit more linear. In the future, we'll change that and make it more flexible. But how we've thought about it now and how we've set up now is a bit more linear, as in email, if that doesn't work, LinkedIn, or vice versa. LinkedIn, if that doesn't work, then jump to email. Then you do have other options. You can set up other automations, but that would require maybe bringing in some other tools as well. But for now, it's a bit more linear.
But Hans, sorry to jump in. I would invite the audience to test it out and give us suggestions of what your ideal integration would be. Like, what do you want to see next? Because the teams are actually following what the market actually wants. So if it makes sense for you, it makes sense for a lot of people. We will roll it out in multiple phases, and we will expand it as it goes. For the time being, it's like you just saw it, but feel free to give us suggestions on our channels.
Exactly. The roadmap is like we have a roadmap, but it's still open to suggestions. That's very much true. In the end, we build, like you said, we build what the market needs, what the market wants. So Neil's asking, can we get more granular, etc.? Like, so for example, out of 800 who did not reply, if I only want to reach out to those who actually opened, you can. So within Instantly, for example, you can make a list of, like, if you have enabled open tracking, you can say anyone who has opened their email, add them to a list, and then the automation, you set it up as in whenever a lead is added to a list, then add them to HeyReach. So yes, you can set it up. It requires this one additional step, but that's going to take you 10 seconds, right? So that's how you set that up. Is HeyReach free to use as an Instantly customer? It is for 2 weeks, the free trial. Any other deals that you have now around Christmas, Black Friday?
Yes, we do. We offer 30% on our quarterly payments and 40% of our annual payments, valid until Friday. So yes, I mean, it's not free. We still have to pay our developers to actually build out integrations. So yes, there is the free trial and there is the sweet offer running for 2 more days.
Yeah, people got to eat, but yeah, like the 40% is, I saw it today. That is very tempting.
Yes.
Then Hamza is asking, can we go back and forth with the same lead? For example, if I finish my email sequence Instantly and then switch to HeyReach, what happens if the lead responds to my email anyway afterwards? Also, will my LinkedIn sequence stop automatically if I get a response on email?
That's a valid question. Obviously, you have to solve this outside of the box, basically by tracking webhooks on responses from Instantly and from HeyReach. It's not supported. So that's why I'm suggesting give a bigger delay. So meaning if 7 days after your last email there was no response, then enroll them in a campaign to minimize the chances of cutting yourself off guard, where they basically responded to email and obviously not, and you're still messaging them on LinkedIn. So give a bigger delay between your last action and your new action, and you'll be on the safe. And later stages, we will basically build out tracking of what happened there and what happened over there.
Exactly. So for now, it requires a little bit of additional effort from your end, which again is fairly straightforward as well. In the future, will be more natively baked in, but you can set that up. Exactly what Ilya said.
Yes.
Not sure what this means, Jeremy. Feel free to clarify that a little bit. Vuk already is helping us out here, so shout out to Vuk.
Vuk is from my team, basically, just helping.
Saw that. Then I agree, Jeremy. A lot of people pushing their own portals, but the nerds, I'm a nerd, like I'm guilty, want to know how to duct tape them together, and we just made it a lot easier. No more duct tape. It's just fully integrated, so no more duct tape needed. We listened to the nerds and we made it available to everyone. Sorry, I skipped one question, so let me do this question, then jump back. So how do you warm LinkedIn accounts, if at all?
You don't. That's the best part of LinkedIn. As long as you have a LinkedIn profile in place, and obviously not a decent profile picture, it would be nice to have at least 500 connections so your outreach could work properly. There is no warm up. There is no point in, like, similar to email. Like email, you obviously have to warm it up for a couple of weeks before you use it. On HeyReach, obviously on LinkedIn, it's already there and ready to go. So you just plug it in and you start messaging. Just bear in mind, like, we will take control over the limits to keep you on the safe side. Keep it to 20 connection requests per day, and people will start accepting, so you can increase over time.
Exactly. Beautiful. And then same person had another question. I think name is Manu, maybe, not sure, but he had this question. So sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, how many LinkedIn accounts can I get? There are no limit, just like, yes, we do have a special plan, although just bear in mind that obviously we do have recurring costs. Our unlimited plan is essentially $2,000 per month, in which you can connect up to 500 LinkedIn accounts, and you can scale your outreach. The problem is how much time and effort and money will you spend to get LinkedIn accounts? Because, truth to be told, on email inbox actually costs cents or $1. LinkedIn is a different breed because it's more limiting in that department. So what I'd say is be very strategical on how you use your LinkedIn actions. Like, pick on the 800 per month that are most valuable and enroll them into a LinkedIn campaign. And after a while, you will find ways to actually scale this up.
Exactly. That makes a lot of sense. Then speaking of the roadmap, so auto reply agent for HeyReach, that's something I'm sure you've considered it. Is that something that's on the roadmap?
No, it's on the roadmap. Like, AI features will be released Q2 2026.
Beautiful. All right. Then that was awesome. Appreciated, Kurt. Jeremy will be upselling. Very much agree. Then Neil, let's see. If we're pushing leads back and forth, does a campaign in HeyReach stop? So I think that was the same question we already answered, where for now it doesn't. You can set that up, bringing in maybe other platforms, other automations, but we will add that natively in the future to have a bit of a
just to clarify for everyone. Sorry, Hans, but put bigger delays. People are not going to respond after 10 days on email. People are not going to respond after 10 days on LinkedIn. So even if you go back and forward, just envision that the sales cycle and the outreach cycle will become longer. That's all there is, if you want to be on the safe side. And if you want to have a shorter outreach cycle, then play around with the webhooks, Makes, Zapier, N8N, Clay, and you will have essentially the same thing.
Exactly. Ramon, yes, the live or the replay will be available on YouTube and LinkedIn. Then let me see. So Willie, yes, the Brandon flow was a very, very cool one. Then how can we learn more about outreach principles? I may get in trouble for this. Bit of a teaser where the Instantly Academy will be there soon, where you can learn all about outreach principles. How about LinkedIn best practices and principles? What was the best way to learn about that?
Yes, starting our YouTube channel, and there is a state-of-the-art support and success team. You can always ask us, and basically we will help you with your use case.
Beautiful. Then Jeremy, can I kick off a workflow on script.google.com and pass it a parameter like an email address? I'm not 100% sure, but if you shoot me that question or the support team with a bit more details on what you're looking to do, then I'm happy to look into that. I think he's looking to automate it from Google Sheets, but I may be wrong there. Let me see. Other questions. What other ideas be for using? So other data sources, man, there are a lot. So I'm going to try and cover a lot of those in the academy as well. I mean, there's X, there is, monitoring LinkedIn posts, obviously, monitoring the news, monitoring Google News, setting up custom RSS feeds. So whenever there's an interesting news source, turn it into an RSS feed, and that can be your source. There are a lot, and hopefully soon I can cover all of them. Then Kurt asked for one paid LinkedIn account, more volume of outreach can we get? You already mentioned that for Red.
Let's say between 600 and 800 connection requests per month.
That's a safe number, I think.
That's the LinkedIn limit, by the way. So yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to go a little bit quicker here because we're running out of time here. How about the sending of emails, having credits? I think it's asking about,
the emails on open profiles, you can do up to 800 of those separately to the connection requests. You just need to find profiles that are open for emails without credits.
Mm-hmm. All right. Then have you seen Apollo sequencer? That will be ideal. I have seen them a while ago. I know they look good. Let me, check them out again to see what you mean. I'm sure they've built something phenomenal because they definitely have the funds for it. Then let's see. Is the auto reply agent for LinkedIn coming? Ilya mentioned that's coming 2026. Yes. Can HeyReach automate LinkedIn posts or only DM conversations?
No, we stick to LinkedIn inbox and LinkedIn DMing, no posts.
Stick what you do best. I like it. We would like to use and then integrate it with Instantly and handle the SDR part. Is that possible? Handle the SDR part. If you're talking about building an AI SDR, then stay tuned. But if you mean something else, then drop me a message and happy to have a look at that. Maybe ask Brandon because he is about 1,000,000 times better at the end stuff than I am. Let me see. How do I get leads? It is not a stupid question. You cannot find your target audience on Instantly or Apollo. If you cannot find them on Instantly, shoot me a message. Happy to see if I can help. Otherwise, we may be able to find them on LinkedIn. Then Ilya can help. And otherwise, there may be other data sources. Shoot us a message on support or the community, Slack community. Then we can definitely help you out. Let's see. Then when it comes to messaging on LinkedIn, you know that LinkedIn doesn't like it when you are using third-party apps to send messages. So how do you guys solve that and prevent them from banning the account?
We do have a lot of systems in place that monitor and track the activity and monitor and track the LinkedIn behavior. So basically, at some point, we freeze all activities on the account to preserve and to keep it safe. As a proof of what I'm saying, without going into further details, this company has grown 10x in the past year just because we offer security first, results second. Nobody wants to lose an account, and we basically make sure that doesn't happen.
Beautiful. All right. Can we have a more detailed report every week? So within Instantly, yes, you just head over to analytics and you can download the report there. Within HeyReach, where can people find their analytics?
Yes, you can download from the lead analytics on your fourth tab on the campaign. You basically know who did what in this campaign.
Beautiful. And if you cannot find it, jump in the chat and we can show you.
Yeah.
All right, that brings us to the end, right on time. So we went through all of the questions, actually. It was a bit of a rapid fire by the end. If anyone has any burning questions left, just to repeat myself, reach out to Ilya on LinkedIn, reach out to me on LinkedIn, jump into the chat that we have on heyreach.io and on Instantly.ai. We have a Slack community. If you want to try HeyReach or if you want to try Instantly, there are links in the descriptions. And then people can get started. Ilya, thank you very much.
Hans, it was a real pleasure, and I'm looking forward to see what people will build.
Exactly. I see some other questions coming in about specific lead generation strategies. Again, feel free to ask those with more detail in the Slack community. And then me personally, I'll be very much happy to help people out there. For now, thanks everyone for watching. Ilya, have a good one. And we're looking forward to the next webinar.
See you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.